double cross. All signs pointing to
Two-Face. I won't rest until we get to the bottom of this.
the game is afoot, Mr. Dent.
Get the lead out, or I'll put the lead in.
Hi, this is Marc Morrell from ToonBarn. We're here at New York Comic Con 2017. We're talking about Batman versus Two-Face with the writer Michael Jelenic.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. So, how did you get Harley Quinn, Two-Face, and Hugo Strange together in a 60s style Batman?
This is such a sort of a weird take on the 60s Batman. It's taking influences from pre-60s Batman and post-60s Batman and sort of pushing it all together. James Tucker, who I wrote the movie with, I think one of the things he wanted to do is to sort of expand, to grow 60s Batman. It's like, what would the show have become if, you know, it lasted on the air a little bit longer? Would have become darker? And so this is almost like a darker take on a campy version, which is sort of a weird mix. It's like, it's weird seeing them together, but it works. It's fun.
All right, so did you take any elements from Batman 66, The Lost Episode?
No, I try to stay away from that episode. I didn't want to be influenced by that. I mean, instead we were influenced more by classic, Two-Face comics. So there's definitely references to some well-known like Dick Sprang comics in the movie, which I think will probably be pretty easy to spot once you see it. But yeah, we wanted to do our own thing.
So if you were given a chance to take a villain, a Batman villain from the 60s, like Two-Face, who didn't have his own, movie or episode, who would you make next?
Oh, man. So my favorite part of the 60s show was probably the comedy, but my favorite villains might be the ones that were a little bit darker than the rest, So False Face was just so creepy in that show. I wouldn't mind seeing a False Face movie, but that might be just that very specific interpretation. I don't know if you could actually do anything better than what they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on ToonBarn.
Thank you.
All right, so James and Michael, you guys set the tone for this homage to the original series with the Caped Crusaders. What were some of the ways that you took that and kind of ran with it for this one?
Well, I think if you watch if you watch both of them, the first one I think is a little bit truer to what Burt and Adam did in the original series. So I think this one, we were trying to push it into a darker territory. I think James was calling it
Camp Noir.
Yeah, Camp Noir. So it's like this really campy stuff. So there's a lot of sort of ridiculous moments with this really sort of serious atmosphere and music, and it sort of shouldn't work together, but it does. So I think that was our direction for this.
There's no place you can't go.
Right, exactly. Can you guys really just let...
Well, it's, the original show was tongue-in-cheek and was full of double entendres, and that was the spirit of the show. I mean, it gets naughtier as you get older, and you watch it and you're like, oh, wow, they got away with that? So I think that line is perfectly in keeping with the spirit of the show.
And I think the line works because, like, Burt delivers it in such a way that
earnest.
You feel like the dirty person interpreting that.
Yeah.
Clearly he did not mean it the way you thought it was supposed to. And that's really the comic genius of Burt and Adam, is like they were given so many sort of ridiculous over-the-top lines, and they delivered it with such straight faces. I mean, they really were ahead of the game comedically, I think, back then. How would Two-Face say?
What humongous.